The cell measures 7 feet by 12 feet, 84 square feet, which is smaller than most people's bathrooms. The walls are concrete, painted industrial white. The bed is a concrete slab with a thin mattress. The toilet and sink are stainless steel, bolted to the wall. There's a narrow window, 4 inches wide, that lets in light but shows nothing except a slice of sky. No view of the ground, no view of other buildings, nothing that might help you remember you're still on Earth. This is Administrative Maximum Facility in Florence, Colorado. ADX Florence, the Supermax prison where America sends inmates too dangerous or too high profile for regular maximum security. This is home to El Chapo, the Boston Marathon bomber, the Unabomber. And this is what 23 hours a day looks like when you're serving life in the most secure prison in America. The morning begins at 6 a.m. when fluorescent lights turn on automatically. There's no sunrise here because the window faces the wrong direction, and even if it didn't, you couldn't see the horizon. The lights are your clock. At 6:15, a slot in the door opens, and breakfast slides through. Today, it's oatmeal, an apple, milk. The food isn't poisonous, but it's barely food. Calories and nutrients arranged on a tray with no attention to taste, because taste is a luxury, and this place has eliminated luxury at a cellular level. You eat alone. You've eaten alone for years. We'll eat alone for decades more if you survive that long. At 6:45, the slot opens again. A guard's voice. Rec time. You going? This is your 1 hour outside the cell. Not outside the facility. You'll never be outside the facility again, but outside this specific 84 square feet. You say yes, because the alternative is staying in the cell for 24 consecutive hours, and that way lies madness, faster than the way you're already headed. You turn around, put your hands through the slot, wait for handcuffs. The door opens. 2 guards escort you down a corridor painted the same industrial white as your cell. Every door you pass is identical to yours. Every cell contains a human being you will never meet, never speak to, never see, except maybe through narrow windows during the shuffle to recreation. The recreation cage is 10 feet by 12 feet, slightly larger than your cell. It's outdoors technically. There's no roof, but the walls are 20 feet of concrete topped with razor wire, and the sky above is covered with metal grating to prevent helicopter rescues. This has never happened, but procedures anticipate every scenario, no matter how unlikely. You can walk in small circles. You can do push-ups. You can look at the sky through metal grating and try to remember what clouds looked like before you saw them through a grid designed to keep you caged even in open air. There are no other inmates in adjacent cages. Supermax doesn't allow visual contact between prisoners. You can hear them sometimes through the walls. Someone singing, someone screaming, someone just talking to themselves, because talking to yourself is better than complete silence. But you can't see them, and they can't see you. The hour passes slowly and quickly simultaneously. Slowly in the moment, quickly when it's over, and you realize you have 23 hours until the next one. Guards return at 8 a.m., handcuffs again, the walk back down white corridors, the cell door closing with a sound you've heard thousands of times, but which never stops feeling like a lid closing on a coffin. You're sealed back into your 84 square feet. The rest of the day stretches ahead like a desert. From 8 a.m. to noon, nothing happens. You can read if you have books. ADX allows books, but limits them. Nothing with maps, nothing with detailed architectural drawings, nothing that might contain information useful for escape, even though escape from ADX has never happened, and likely never will. You have a small radio that receives AM/FM if the reception cooperates. Some days it does, some days it doesn't. And when it doesn't, You're left with silence, broken only by the hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional sound of guards walking corridors doing their checks. Lunch arrives at noon through the slot. A sandwich, chips, an orange. You eat because eating breaks up time. When you finish, you have 8 more hours until dinner. 8 hours is a work shift. Outside, people complete entire days of employment in 8 hours. Here, you have to fill it with nothing. Some inmates exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, running in place, because there's not enough room to actually run. Some read the same books repeatedly until they've memorized them. Some pray if they still believe in gods who listen to prayers from Supermax cells. Some just sleep, chemically induced if necessary, because unconsciousness is the only escape available. The psychological impact of Supermax confinement is documented in studies that read like horror stories. Prisoners develop hallucinations, paranoia, depression, anxiety disorders. The human brain isn't designed for this level of isolation. We evolved as social creatures. Extended isolation causes actual brain damage. MRI studies show reduced gray matter in areas responsible for emotion regulation and spatial awareness. Inmates describe feeling like they're disappearing, like they're becoming ghosts, like reality is becoming optional. Time stops meaning anything. Days blend together. You're not serving a sentence anymore. You're existing in an eternal present tense, where nothing changes except the slow deterioration of your mind. Some inmates try to maintain routines to preserve sanity. They assign meaning to meaningless actions. This is breakfast time. This is reading time. This is exercise time. The routine doesn't matter. What matters is having structure when nothing structurally makes sense. Others abandon routine and drift through days like sleepwalkers, responding to meal slots and rec time, but otherwise, floating in a mental space that isn't quite consciousness and isn't quite sleep. The guards call this state institutional autism, a complete withdrawal from engagement with reality, because reality has nothing to offer except more of the same nothing. Communication with the outside world is extremely limited. Phone calls are expensive and monitored. Letters are read by staff. Visits are through glass via video screen. No physical contact. No passing anything between you and the visitor. Just faces on screens, talking through phones, while guards listen. Most inmates at ADX have no visitors. Families stop coming after the first year. It's too hard, too expensive, too psychologically damaging to see someone you love locked in these conditions with no hope of release. At 5 p.m., dinner arrives. The best meal because it's different from breakfast and lunch, but still institutional food, designed for efficiency, not enjoyment. After dinner, the evening stretches ahead. More nothing. More time to fill with reading, radio, exercise, sleep, or the slow contemplation of everything that led to being here. Many ADX inmates are serving life without parole. They will die in these cells. They know this. The certainty of it creates a particular kind of despair. You're not waiting for release. You're waiting for death. And death is taking its time. Lights out at 10 p.m. But sleep is difficult because you've done nothing all day to tire you physically. You've been in a box for 23 hours. Your body isn't exhausted, but your mind is, which creates a disconnect that makes rest impossible. You lie on the concrete slab mattress staring at the dark ceiling, hearing sounds from other cells, coughing, crying, the endless background hum of fluorescent lights that never fully turns off. Eventually you sleep. Eventually you wake, and the cycle begins again and again and again, for years, for decades, until you've forgotten what normal human contact feels like, what sunlight unfiltered by grating looks like, what it means to choose anything about your day, beyond whether to go to recreation or stay in your cell. This is what 23 hours a day in the most secure prison in America looks like. Not dramatic, not violent, just nothing. Extended nothing. Nothing stretched across years until nothing becomes everything, and you can't remember there was ever anything else. If you want to understand more about extreme confinement and what it does to human minds, subscribe to Prison Diaries. Because Supermax isn't just about security, it's about creating conditions so severe they make regular maximum security look humane. And understanding what happens to humans when you isolate them. This completely reveals dark truths about what our justice system is willing to do in the name of punishment.